So we're trying something a little different here on the channel this week, and bear with me for a few minutes, okay? So you know what, with all this talk from Paramount having multiple treatments of new Transformer movies, we're supposed to have a Transformer and G.I. Joe crossover movie at some point, I figured what better time than to just go through and rank all of the G.I. Joe and Transformer movies that are out currently as of this video right now. You're going to get some really strong opinions here about some of these things from me, so I'm curious on how the comment section of this video will go, because I have some very strong opinions on this stuff. So yeah, okay, so let's jump into it. We're just ranked tier list based on my personal opinions, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'll try to explain my feelings on each movie, and we'll get the list filled out. Anyways, so let's jump right into it. So, okay, here is tier list. Obviously everyone uses tier list. Okay, so right away, so like I sort of like pre-sorted the movies at the bottom to kind of to pre-sort them. They're not in any very specific order, but to make it more of a logical order. Okay, so right away we're gonna start out with Transformers 1. So Transformers 1 came out in 2025. You know what? It's a fairly decent movie. Did I think it had some problems with its marketing? Like, it was kind of in a weird situation where it was trying to be a kids movie, but also trying to bring in that like adult Transformer fan. And I sometimes I feel like it didn't really succeed as much as it should have. Obviously, it wasn't a total success at the box office. Was it fun to watch? Yes, it was. Did I feel like it needed more of an edge to it when I watched it, because that's what I wanted out of it? Yes, I do. So, I mean, a fairly good movie. I don't necessarily, like, as of right now, at the filming of this video, I don't think we're expecting a sequel to it, Transformers 2, anytime soon. It's just that it wasn't enough of a success to spawn a second movie. And then right now, like, I mean, there was so much marketing, toys and stuff like that just, like, I'm sure just ended up in the scrapyard because it didn't sell, right? Anyways, so if I had to rank Transformers 1 right now, I would put it as a B-list movie. So obviously, sorry, I should explain this. Obviously, the ranking system, I played with the colors a little bit because I feel like F needed to be red. Now, I know a lot of people do S, and S tier is red, but to me, red means sort of bad. So I wanted to go with the F being the bad. So I rejigged the colors. So S tier is just like the bright green, as in that's good. But anyway, so Transformers 1, kicking off the list, I think it's like a B tier movie because I don't think it really hit like it should have to put it in an A or S tier. So, but it wasn't horrible, right? So I'm going to leave it a B tier for now. And that's where we're going with that. So, once again, let me know what you think about Transformers 1. Should have been higher up in the list once the list is completed. So let me know your feelings about that. Now, so we're moving on. And then, like I said, I've pre-sorted these. So we got Transformers 1 out of the way. We're going to start with the G.I. Joe live action movies now. First of all, we have G.I. Joe, the first G.I. Joe movie, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, released in 2009. It's a long time ago. So the thing is with G.I. Joe, I am a huge fan of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. Was really looking forward to this, but this movie is not good, okay? It is not good. The director, Stephen Sommers, he had this idea for his own movie, and he incorporated those accelerator suits into the G.I. Joe movie because his movie was never going to get made. And those accelerator suits are ridiculous, have nothing to do with G.I. Joe, and I mean, there might be some bare bones of a good movie here, but overall, I thought the original live action G.I. Joe movie was really not great, okay? So if I had to rank it personally, just because I had to think out this tier list, I'm gonna put it as a C. So like it did not hit with me. I did not like it, and so it's C. I think technically it could have been a little lower, but I'm gonna put it as C and kind of be generous with that one. That's just my opinion. Now the follow-up movie, GI Joe Retaliation. GI Joe Retaliation, released in 2013, had The Rock in it. You know what? Like, I'll have to be honest with you. Once again, not a stellar movie, but do I think it was better than the original movie? Yes, I do. Okay, I do think they were able to hit more with the GI Joe fans. Like, they incorporated a lot more of the more interesting characters. You got Zartan, you got Firefly, obviously Storm Shadow, Cobra Commander, you got Roadblock, you got Lady J, Flint. There's a lot of cool characters in there. I mean, it wasn't the best movie, but was it better than the original movie? Yes, I do think it was. So, you know what? For me, I'm gonna put this one as a B tier movie. So, like, once again, not an upper echelon A or S, but better than the original movie. So we gave the original movie a C. We're gonna push the other movie to a B. Anyways, so that makes sense, hopefully. Now, moving on to, what is this movie called? Snake Eyes Origins, a G.I. Joe movie or something like that. I don't know what to say about this movie. I probably talked about it a couple times on our live stream that we do every Sunday night at 11:30 p.m. But this Snake Eyes movie is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I do not plan to watch it ever again. I watched it once and that was too much. Like, I don't know how this movie got released. Like, it is absolutely atrocious. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, like major plot points in this rankings or whatever. But I mean, if you haven't, the movie's been out for a while. It came out in 2021, so it's been out for almost 5 years. So the thing is, they basically made Snake Eyes, for all intents and purposes, the bad guy. You weren't rooting for Snake Eyes. You were rooting for, I guess, Storm Shadow. And it was just really badly done. Nothing to do with G.I. Joe, and there were some cameos. I believe Scarlet was in it. Baroness was in it. It was just and that giant snake. It was a horrible, horrible movie. And the worst thing is it basically ends in a cliffhanger where the movie will never be resolved unless there's a sequel. The movie bombed. There will never be a sequel made to this movie. So you're basically left in limbo and you'll never understand how the full story worked out. So for this, obviously you can tell where I'm going with this right now. This is an F tier movie. It is horrible. If you have not watched it as of yet, do not watch it. Save yourself the 2 hours or however long it is, okay? Don't watch it. Anyways, okay, so from there, we're gonna jump into the Transformers live action movies. So we'll go in order with those. The first one, so Transformers 2007, like, this is where it all started, right? So the thing is, right away, you'll hear me talk about this more throughout this video. This is where we get these initial new designs, right? These new movie quality designs of our classic Transformer characters. And you know what? The fact is, it kind of either hit or missed with a lot of people, right? But that being said, so for me, I am not a movie design person. I'm not a fan of the movie designs. Do I hate them? No. Am I interested in them? No. So it's kind of, you'll see where I go with these movies as I go through, spoiler. But so the original Transformers movie that came out in 2007 is a decent movie. It is a pretty good movie. And I think for an introduction to this live action, I think they did a great job of, first of all, developing the characters, introducing all the characters, giving it some kind of story that worked out, adding some comedic bits to it. I mean, the special effects were amazing. I do think the original Transformers movie is for sure an A-tiered movie. Okay. So I'm going to put it up in that A tier. I think for an initial introduction, I think they did a great job. So you know what? So we're going to put that in an A tier. Okay, so that was our introduction to Michael Bay's Transformers. I think it was a good one. Now, moving on from there, we move to the second Transformers movie. So we have Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. When did it come out? It came out in 2009. This, for me, okay? Now, a lot of people will probably disagree with this, okay? But this this for me is when the Transformers live action series started to really fall off the rails. And you're like, but it's only the second movie. Yeah, I understand that. So basically, I've seen it a couple of times. I believe the story is completely messed up and makes no sense. Very hard to follow. Just like not good. It's just not good. I don't know what else to say about it. It is not a good movie. And for a sequel, you know, that's sometimes expected when you hit sequels, right? But the problem here with these Transformers movies is back in the day when they were being released, they were making a ton of money for Michael Bay and I guess Paramount. So I mean, they continued to make them because money is king. Anyways, so for me, I think a lot of people do and kind of enjoy this movie, but I did not. I'm gonna put it as a tier C movie. Now you'll see, no pun intended, while I put it as a C in a second. Okay. So after that, in 2011, so just 2 years later. We get Transformers Dark of the Moon. Now, Dark of the Moon, once again, Optimus Prime is back with a cast of Autobots. There's a cast of Decepticons. This movie had a lot of special effects, but movies with a lot of special effects don't necessarily make them great movies. And this is where, for me, the Transformers series just like took a nosedive. Like, I believe there's a scene in this movie when in the Battle of Chicago, I believe Bumblebee is battling Soundwave and some Decepticons, and there's Autobots, and there's a big battle scene, and we cut to something else, and then we cut back to that scene, and Soundwave has captured Bumblebee, and he's in like handcuffs or he's down on his knees, and you're like, what happened here? Where was the edit? What happened? Like, the edit makes no sense. And then, you know, Bumblebee gets out somehow, and, you know, whatever, more stuff continues. It's just, this movie was not good. It's not good. Another thing I did notice about this movie as well, for a movie that is, you know, primarily targeted at children, for the Transformers, the toys, all the merchandise, there seems to be a lot of really crazy violence towards humans. Like, there's a scene once again in that Battle of Chicago, Chi-Town, where like there's Decepticons and they are just vaporizing humans. Like, humans are just like exploding. I mean, not pink mist or anything, but like they're like gone. And like the city is being destroyed, and like it just, I don't know if it's because I had my first child around this time or whatever, but like something changed in me. But it stood out to me that the movie is very, very violent. Not that I'm against violence. I'm fine with, you know, action movies and stuff like that. It's just when this movie is directed towards possibly children because of all the related merchandise, it was really weird to see. Anyways, so this movie I'm gonna give a D. So we're gonna give Dark of the Moon a D because like not good not good at all, right? Next up is Transformers Age of the Extinction, which was released in 2014. Now the thing here, so we got an introduction of a new character. We got Mark Wahlberg himself is Cade Yeager. You know, this movie had a pretty good setup. Optimus Prime was in hiding. You know, you got Marky Mark. So I mean, you got some actors. So once again, started out great, a Michael Bay film, but it quickly deteriorates. And to be honest with you, like, I've seen this movie, I wouldn't be able to tell you if you showed me a scene of Age of Extinction and The Last Night. I don't know if I would be able to tell you which scene the movies are from, because in my mind these two movies kind of just like blur together. So I mean, I've got notes here. It says the film introduces the Dinobots. Sure, like those Dinobots, not a fan of their designs. They seemed really crazy. I mean, I think it was going more on nostalgia here, like, oh, the Dinobots are in the movies, but like, I just, overall, Age of Extinction, I can't even really remember most of it. So it's going in the D pile. The D pile is quickly adding up for the Transformers live action movies. Now, next up is Transformers The Last Night, released in 2017. They took a 3-year break. Hopefully to come back with an awesome movie, but guess what? Once again, they failed. Another Michael Bay action fest, explosions, everything going everywhere. And like I mentioned about the previous movie, I understand that The Last Night and Age of Extinction have separate movie plots. I can't really remember like scenes that like stood out from these movies. I wouldn't be able to give you a full plot recap because these movies to me are not good. They're not good. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, I think when I watched The Last Night, I did not go see it in theater, I don't believe so. I think I might have turned it off at like before the movie finished, and never originally finished. I only like had to go back and watch it another time to finish it. So I'll be honest, so it's not a good scene. It's not a good movie. And you know what, more power to it, because I know there's a lot of Transformer fans out there that absolutely love these live action movies. And you are absolutely allowed to love these live action movies. For me, I think a majority of them are horrible. And the only reason they kept on making them was because they were making millions, hundreds of millions of dollars off these movies. For merchandise, obviously people out there some people love the Michael Bay movie designs. They want more of those in, you know, studio series, and that's great for you. More power to you. But for me, I could do without them. Anyways, so long story short, The Last Night is going back to the D pile. So the D tier has Dark of the Moon, The Last Night, and Age of Extinction in the D pile because those Transformer live action movies, stinkers. Anyways, that's my personal opinion. Okay, so after that, now 2018, we got a little bit of a reprieve. We've got the Bumblebee movie. Now, this movie is a Travis Knight movie. Michael Bay obviously probably, you know, involved in it, but Travis Knight was the director. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I like this movie. This movie, like, I was done with the first 5 live action movies. This movie came back, and at least it's not perfect, but it came back and revitalized my interest in the Transformers movies. So I was like, oh, okay, well, what else are they gonna do? Obviously, set in the 1980s. It's kind of like a throwback film. It's got some good music in it. It's got some really good action in it. The special effects are great. I found Bumblebee's designs were great or whatever. All the Transformers were pretty good actually. And you know, it had a pretty good story. That intro from Cybertron, obviously, that was amazing. I think more people like myself want to see more of that. The war on Cybertron. Anyways, so maybe we'll get that in the future at some point. I don't know. Probably not now. But Bumblebee, the movie, I think was very well done and very entertaining. And like I said, it revitalized my interest in the Transformers live action movies. So this one, I'm going all now. I'm putting this one all the way to A. And like I said, I enjoyed it, and I thought overall the whole package was great. Once again, not perfect S tier, doesn't have the S tier, but I do believe it was one of the better Transformers movies that has been released. Now, 2023, one of our newest, it's our newest live action movie, Transformers Rise of the Beast, director Stephen Caple Jr. You know what? I was cautious about this movie. And the reason was because I'm actually not a big fan of Beast Wars. I grew up with Beast Wars. It was out when I was younger, obviously. I watched it when it was live on TV. And you know what? I watched it, but I'm not a fan of Beast Wars like a lot of people are. So I was worried when they were marrying the live action robots with more beasts and stuff like that it was not going to turn out great. But I have to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought this movie was decent. I thought it's by far better than the 4 middle Transformers live action movies from Michael Bay. Way better than those movies. Transformers, the original one, gets a pass because it's the original one. Bumblebee was really good as well. But the Rise of the Beasts, I thought was well done. It had a good story. The special effects looked great. I enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it. And then, of course, you know, quickly, if there's a spoiler here, move forward about 20 seconds. But that part at the end where they introduced G.I. Joe, I was like, I'm sold. Now, obviously, that was spoiled for me, and I was annoyed by that. I read that before going into the movie, but I was like, boom, this movie sold it for me. I was sold. I'm like, okay, I need more. So we'll see how that goes. So for me, Transformers Rise of the Beast did hit very well, and I'm going to place that one as a B tier. I'm just below, Bumblebee and the original Transformers movie, just because, you know what, I needed to differentiate those like better Transformer movies than Rise of the Beast. So not saying there's nothing wrong with Rise of the Beast. It was very well done. I enjoyed it. B tier. I think B tier is a respectable mark for these Transformer movies. So yeah, anyways, so that's my opinion. Now we're down to our last two movies. And what are we doing here first? So we have G.I. Joe, the animated movie from 1987. Okay, for me, if you're a fan of the channel, I am a big fan of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. I have a huge G.I. Joe collection in a glass case behind me somewhere. And you know what? I do think that this movie was fairly good. Now, obviously, this is, more of a retro movie. It's from the 80s, mid-80s, 87. I think the animation is like top notch. I think the story is pretty good, but for me, I guess looking back now, it is a bit of a nostalgia hit or whatever, right? Because I do really love G.I. Joe and Real American Hero. Am I a big fan of the Cobra Law story? Not entirely. Have I come to accept it over the years? Probably yes. So the thing is, I think it is a good movie. I enjoy it. I have it on Blu-ray. I just picked up the VHS tape at the thrift store like last month or whatever. It has a lot of cool characters in it. They introduced a lot of cool characters in the movie. They have some big actors in it. I think for me, it is one of my favorite G.I. Joe properties. Once again, not in love with Cobra Law, but have come to accept it. I don't need to throw in my face or anything. Like it wasn't in the original comic book, but now Skybound, they've started to introduce it and get into it, and it seems to fit with what they're doing. So overall, if I had to rank the G.I. Joe movie, I am going to pull it up, and it is going to go into an A tier movie. So it's going to go A tier. And I do think it's really good. It's worth a watch. If you are in the G.I. Joe original, like obviously G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, and you haven't seen it, you've watched any of the cartoon, make sure you watch it because it is worth watching. I think it's a fun watch. Get some popcorn out and watch that movie. You'll enjoy it. Anyways, okay, now, so down to our last movie, we have Transformers the movie, from 1986. Basically, you know what? This movie, I can remember seeing this movie in the theater. It was a long time ago. I was 6. Yeah, so it was a long time ago. I've watched it numerous times since. I have it on Blu-ray. Actually, I have it a couple times on Blu-ray. I think I have it a couple times on DVD as well. So, I think, yeah. So, I have it on like 2 times on DVD. I have the Canadian version where Bumblebee says the S word. And then I have an American version, and I had it on Blu-ray, and then it was on sale. I have it on 4K Blu-ray, which I haven't watched or whatever recently. Anyways, so this movie, personally for me, it hits, okay? Like, I'm a huge Generation 1 Transformer fan, and this movie does it for me. You got so many characters. I loved, Unicron, Orson Welles, Galvatron. You got all that coming together. Now, obviously, look, let's be honest. It sucks that Optimus Prime dies, and it ruined all our childhood. But, like, that's part of the movie. I'm looking back as an adult right now. So, yeah, that does suck. But, you know what? Overall, I do, and it's got some really awesome music in it by Weird Al Yankovic. It's got the theme song, The Touch. Anyways, like it's really cool, really amazing action scenes. That scene where Optimus Prime is driving through and he runs over thrust and shrapnel and stuff like that, amazing. The animation is top quality. I think, look, if you've stayed here this long for the video, you know where I'm going with this, right? So this one, it's got to be pulled up, and it's an S tier movie. Now, the thing is, if you don't like Generation 1, you're probably not going to rank it S tier. But I love Generation 1, so I have to put it S tier. And you know what? I'm really surprised that I didn't rank the G.I. Joe movie in S tier as well. But I do think the Transformer animated movie is much better than the G.I. Joe animated movie. The Transformer one stays more in its lane. It actually, continues on into season 3 of the TV show, where the G.I. Joe one kind of is like a one-shot. and we don't really see much more of it in the cartoon. Yeah, overall, you know, Optimus Prime even comes back. So you know what? Overall, S tier movie. So that is my rankings for these Transformers and G.I. Joe movies. So just as a recap, we got the 86 movie S tier. A tier, we got the Transformers original live action movie, Bumblebee, and the G.I. Joe animated movie. Then for B tier, we have Transformers 1, G.I. Joe live action Retaliation, Rise of the Beasts for B, and then the movies start to trickle off then. For C tier, we have the original G.I. Joe live action movie, Rise of Cobra, followed up by Transformers Dark of the Moon. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And for D tier, that's where Transformers Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and Last Night all fit because they're not great movies. And then lastly, and very much least, we have G.I. Joe Origins, Snake Eyes, whatever it's called, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins Story, or whatever it's called, in F tier because it is by far one of the worst movies I've ever watched. I remember I had it in my hands at the thrift store. I could have bought it for $3. I said, no way, I'm not buying it. Anyways, so that is the ranking of all G.I. Joe and Transformer movies that are currently out as of this video. So you know what? Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Did I miss something completely? Do you agree with what I said, or maybe you don't agree with what I said? I'm very curious to hear what some of the, you know, our regulars here on the channel think about this ranking. Anyway, so leave your comments below. If you've stayed here this long, think about hitting that like button as well. Hit the subscribe button too. It helps out the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. And you know what? You might as well just continue on and watch this next video right here, right? You might as well, right? Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.